So we now have two tables with data. Just to quickly recap, there is an items table, and if we click over here, we see there's a rooms table, and we have established a one-to-many relationship between the rooms table and the items table. So the primary key, you can see the key there, was associated with the room column in the items table, and of course on the exam you would draw this on a piece of paper and put the letter PK right beside room ID and PK right beside serial number. So we're going to continue. Okay, so just follow those instructions to complete parts 1 and 2. And then in part 3, well, we want to create a data entry form. Now, what does that mean? Well, we can go to the tables. Let me close relationships. Okay, I'm going to save what I have here. Let's go to the tables here, and I can just go ahead, click in items, add a new serial number, a new item, and price, and room. So we'll make this the kitchen. Okay, so I can leave any of these items here blank, any of these columns except for the serial number. Remember, the serial number is the primary key. If I don't want to enter a date, or let's say I can't remember the date, I can leave that blank. However, I cannot leave this here blank for serial number. Now, that's one way of doing it. Okay, I'm just manually typing it right into the table. When I want to get rid of a column, I just right-click on that little gray box, and I can delete the record. Okay, so I get a little warning message, and it's gone. So that's manually entering information, entering a new record, deleting it, and of course you can manually update it. I'm going to go ahead and change a date here, purchase date. Okay, but normally we want to make these databases as user-friendly as possible, and we do that via an interface, a window called a form. So right now we don't have any forms. Let's go ahead and create one so we can enter data into items and data into rooms. So I'm going to go to create, and this is really easy. Okay, so just look at the bottom here. You have these different groupings. Okay, you can create tables, you can create queries, you can create forms and reports. Right now we're over here. Now, we can go ahead and design it from scratch. Okay, and we might actually do this in the next module. Okay, that's a good exercise for us to do. But we're going to take some shortcuts here. Let me go ahead and close that. Okay. Hopefully it didn't save anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a wizard to create the form. Okay, so let's go back to create, go to the forms group. Okay, everything related to forms is right there. Okay, and what am I going to do? I am going to use the wizard. That means I'm going to skip a bunch of steps, and it's going to automatically generate a form for me, and it's going to be really easy. So let's go ahead and use the form wizard. Okay, now it's asking me right here at the top, I have two tables, item and room. Which one do I want to base it on? So I can base it on item and then select the field, just push it over, or I can base it on room. Okay, so let's go ahead and base it on items. So which fields do I want in there? I'm going to select everything. So I can select them one at a time by using one arrow, or I can select everything by using the double arrow. And let's say in this form I don't want to include something, I would use the back arrow. Okay, but I want to include everything. I want to include the date purchased, the serial number, the item, the cost, and all of that. So I'll do that again real quickly. So form wizard, select the table. There, you choose which table you want, items. you select the fields or the columns, select everything, and then click Next. Now you have the option to finish here, but we want to tweak this a little bit. How do we want this table to appear? So we have different ways of it appearing. So I'm going to just choose one of these. It really doesn't matter. For now, don't choose tabular or data sheet. Choose the first one. Okay. So we're going to click Next. Okay. Now we have a default name here. Okay. But I'm not going to accept the default name. And I'll tell you why. We already have something called items here on the left-hand pane. We have one object. And that's going to be confused with this items if we just simply click Next and Finish. So what I'm going to do, just before items, I'm going to put FRM. So I know it's a form. Okay. Now, I can further modify the form if I want. Or if I'm finished, I can just simply open it and begin entering data. Let's go ahead and try that. Okay, and boom, there's your form. So you can see down here, we can navigate this table. That's record 1 and record 2. That's the first record. I can go right to the beginning. And this here, that's the last record. And to create a new record, there is a star. New blank record. Let's go ahead and do that. New blank record. So this is record number 3. If you look at your navigation toolbar at the bottom, this is record number 3. So let's go ahead and enter an item here. So I think we have a clock, a TV, and maybe some other item. Let's put, I don't know, a chair in there. Okay. Cost, $35. What room is it in? We'll also put this in the living room. And date purchased. Okay, so we click in the field and we have this nice little tool here. So we can scroll back and choose a different month and day that it was purchased. And don't forget, that's your primary key. Okay, so it will not accept the table into the change unless we enter it. So we're going to go ahead and put in a serial number, just some random numbers and letters, and voila, we're done. We can now navigate, okay, through the 3 items we have. We have a clock in the bedroom, we have a TV in the living room, and we now have a chair also in the living room. And this form, this object is right there. Let me go ahead and close it. You can see FRM, close it, and you can see it on the side pane here. I can go ahead and double click it. Let me close all the items first on top. Okay, and I can double click FRM items. That's why it was important to rename it so it has a different name than the table. So let's go ahead, double click. There it is. And I can see at the bottom, this is record 1 of 3. So let's scroll through our records. Okay, we have 3 items in there. Let's add a 4th one. Random serial number. Okay, I'm just going to put a random name in there. Let's put a cost of, I don't know, this is an expensive item. We'll make it $3,000. And we'll call this, or $30,000, we'll call this the mystery. This is our mystery room, and any date purchased. All right, so we now have 4 items in our database that we can navigate through. You're not convinced? Close the form. Go to the items table, double click on it, and there you go, you have a form. So on the test, okay, you're going to create 2 forms, okay, one for each table. We have 2 tables, just to recall, the items table and the room table. So you have to create 2 of these forms and practice adding a record, okay, and deleting a record, and then update and modify. So update and modify is very straightforward. Let's say I want to modify this one right here. So I'm double click on the form. I'm going to go to the last record. Oops, let's go back. And I want to modify this. I want to give this a meaningful name. Okay.